Austin, Auburn versus Texas. Andy Lang, like always, not ends, but on the show, the doctor of prop bets. He's got a slew of prop bets for us for tonight's action, and we're going to end this show with Gianni's Steam Report. Of course, I'm going to give out an NHL free bet. We won again yesterday with the under in the New Jersey Devils game. I think I'm on a 6-0 run for you guys on this show. 6 NHL winners I've given out for free, and that's nothing compared to what I'm doing for my clients. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's $5 Tuesday. Skee Profit. Welcome to the show, and thank you for waking up so early for us today, brother.
Hey, you gotta put in the work if you want to win. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, let's get straight into it. We've got Michigan playing UCLA tonight. This is a feature college basketball matchup. UCLA, both teams are 11-3, and this game is on UCLA's home court. They are -2.5. Both teams also 9-5 ATS on the season, so they're mirroring each other, except UCLA plays to the under almost every night. How are we betting this game?
Yeah, they are 10-3-1 to the under. They have top 5 defense, and they're really good turning opponents over. I think they're number 1 as far as forcing turnovers. And that is where they have an advantage in this game because Michigan really struggles to take care of the ball. As far as their turnover percentage, they're ranked 334. So that's the advantage that UCLA has going for them. I did bet against them in their last game. It was their, I think it was their first trip out east over there to Nebraska. And yeah, they didn't end up getting the win. So coming back home, I would think they're really motivated. But it's a little bit tough here. I would say if I like UCLA, I'd prefer to get in and get out with the first half. I believe they're 10-4 ATS there. And I've seen, a couple games. I mean, that Nebraska game, Nebraska controlled the entire second half. You look at the North Carolina game, I feel like they were letting them back in because as good as UCLA's defense is, they can't stop fouling. And they got to learn how to stop fouling, especially when the other team is in the bonus. So I'm kind of worried about UCLA's second half. Another thing to mention here, in that last game, Eric Daly Jr. missed for UCLA. He's a big part of what they do. He's their second leading scorer. He's their best three-point shooter. And he's still game time decision today. He's also 6'8", so they will need his size in this game too. There's a couple forwards, him and one more I'm blanking out on, but they're both game time decision tonight. If they're missing them, I mean, Michigan, they have a lot of size. They got 2 7-footers down there, and those guys both play like 24 minutes plus per game. UCLA only has 1 7-footer, and he doesn't even play 10 minutes per game. So I look at this, advantages that Michigan could have. They're a really good offensive rebounding team. They're really good scoring inside the arc. And UCLA, I want to say their perimeter defense is better than their defense inside. So if Michigan can get a lot of second chance points and just feast, inside the arc, they can absolutely win this game, if not cover. So I look at Michigan a little bit more. I don't know what happened there.
We are back. Dan, are we live? Sorry about that, guys. Some technical issues. Skee Profit still with us. He was just finishing up his breakdown of the Michigan UCLA game. He likes Michigan plus the points. Skee, let's turn our attention to NBA, a sport that you're really, really good at. And I know you're a Laker fan. You got to be pretty happy, man. This year seems to be one they're taking a little bit more seriously than the last couple, at least out of the gate. This is a 20-14 LA Laker team playing a 20-16 Mavs team. Lakers on the road at -6.5 against Dallas. This line doesn't happen very often. Where are you going here?
Yeah, we kind of mentioned this one on the show last night with Ronald Kabang, but it opened -4, and now we see it as high as -7. The Mavs did play last night. They lost by, I think, like 15 points. The Lakers, it will be their fourth game in 6 nights, but they still have the rest advantage. This one is pretty straightforward for me. I don't really want anything to do with Dallas until they show me that they can play without Luka and Kyrie. I mean, they played 6 games so far this season without both. They haven't covered any of them. They're losing by close to 12 points per game, and we saw another one there last night. So, combination of that with the rest disadvantage, the Lakers. I like the move that they made to get Dorian Finney-Smith. It has a player who actually cares about playing some type of defense and gives effort. And it's not just Anthony Davis doing everything on the defensive end. So when you have a couple guys doing it like that, it becomes contagious and the team begins to do it. I think this Lakers team taps in defensively and really holds this Mavs team down. You look at, I'm pretty sure, I'm looking this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure the Mavs have scored 104 or less in 3 of their last 4 games. I look at without Kyrie and Doncic this season, they've scored 104 or less 4 out of those 6 games. I would be looking here. I mean, I know you're getting the ass end of the line for a better term, but either Dallas team total under, I see a 106 right there, or Lakers are the only way I can look in this game.
Skee Profit, guys. Skee and Ronald Kabang have put together a show. It's called Ahead of the Spread. Tell us about it. When do you tape, and when is it up for all of our listeners?
Yeah, we go live at about 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so around when the last game is finishing up for the night, and we will talk about all the weekday games. So there will be a show Sunday night through Thursday night, breaking down, just helping you guys get ahead of the market. And a lot of these games today, if you look, these lines have moved. So come tap in with us at nighttime, and we'll help you guys get right.
Skee Profit. Skee, let's look at the Boston Celtics. They're on the road. They're -5.5 against Denver, a huge total of 237.5. Denver has won 3 in a row head-to-head against this team. Boston is coming off of a loss, and Denver winners of 4 of 5. How you betting this game?
Yeah, Celtics, forgive me for not having the numbers, but Celtics have been really good off of a loss. Like, once somebody punches them, they come back and show a certain amount of focus. And this Celtics team, they can really lock up defensively versus anybody. That's the difference in my mind between the Nuggets and the Celtics. I don't think the Nuggets are really capable of playing elite defense, while the Celtics are. Both teams can score, but only one team can get stops. Um, you look at the difference as well in pace. Celtics last 5 games playing at the slowest pace in the league. Meanwhile, the Nuggets want to get up tempo, especially with Russell Westbrook. So I guess you can say it's a little bit correlated with who you like to win on the side and the total. I think the Celtics, it's too hard to bet against them off of a loss. I think they're the better team. Missing Aaron Gordon, I think that's a big miss for Denver
Yep.
Nuggets. So I'll lean towards the Celtics side. Also, with the under in the game, if I'm going to bet any over, and the over that I did bet actually, I'll go Jokic over his 8.5 assists. He's hit this 5 of his last 6 games. He's hit it the last 3 versus Boston. He's actually averaging a triple double at home, and he's just a matchup problem for Boston. That's like the one guy they can't defend 1-on-1. So I see them sending double teams trying to get the ball out of his hand, and he has no problem sharing the ball to the open man. So Jokic over 8.5 assists is my best bet for this game, and just a lean towards the Celtics in the under.
Skee Profits. Guys, stay with us all the way. Adam Trigger still to come. Andy Lang and Gianni the Greek plus my NHL free bet. Skee, it's $5 Tuesday for the clients. What do you got going?
I'm working on an NFL play that I'll have up for today, and very looking forward to the playoffs. NFL is positive this year. I think overall, all sports, I'm up about 15 units or so in 2025. We won last year, we won the year before that. So if you guys would like to be involved, you see all my work there, WagerTalk.com.
There we go. Thanks for joining us. Hakeem Profits, everybody. Guys, before we bring Adam Trigger in, a couple of quick things. As we spoke about, it is $5 Tuesday. Now, I want to shout out all of you guys who have been betting my plays the last week, and there are a lot of you, and I am so freaking thankful for you to have joined me. To give you guys perspective of what is going on over in my house, I'm on a 14-2 NFL run. 14-2 NFL run. My 5% play is my NFL total of the week. There will be no stronger total for wildcard weekend than the total I have up right now. It is a 4% best bet. It is $5. I'm on a 14-2 NHL run. I'm on a 5-0 NBA run. I'm on a 12-2 NHL run. I'm on a 20-6 totals run. 14-2 NFL run, 12-2 NHL run, 5-0 NBA run, 20-6 totals run. I'm 15-5 in all my bets over the last 3 days. Those are incredible numbers. I have an unbelievable promo for you guys. I begged head office last night for this, and that is, if you want my NFL free all the way through my entire playoffs, and I got a 5% play up already for this coming week. It's a side. I got a 4% total. If you want my NFL playoffs for free, just buy 1 month of my NHL. It's $179 for my NHL month. 12-2 NHL run, up profit on the season, and you get my NFL playoffs totally free. I really want you guys to join me on this. Okay, enough with the selling, Prez. Let's move on. Adam Trigger, how are you, my friend? What's going on?
Good, Prez. How's it going?
Well, regretfully, we're how it's going is always related to whether we're winning or losing. Luckily, it's going really well right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I do hate that, though, Trigger. Like, it really does bother me that we're so locked into our lives being, I'm out with dinner on Saturday night at a beautiful restaurant. I got the game on my phone sitting at the table. Like, it never ends.
Yeah, like Mallory gives me a hard time about that. She's like, you need to not be miserable when you're losing. And I'm like, it's difficult. Like yesterday, Prez, I made a great bet. I had Delaware State +7. I'm probably I did not see one other person on Twitter that knew that Norfolk State's best player, or one of the best players in the conference, was going to be out. I made the bet. I got in at a good number. They lost by 9. That's still a really good bet. I'd make that bet 100 times out of 100. Was I miserable last night after they lost and didn't cover? Yeah, it's just unavoidable. I don't know how to not be like that.
Yeah, when you finally have a kid, you should name that kid 10-0, and then they'd be like, "Why?" And you'd be like, "Well, I was in a good mood." Anyway, yeah. Oh my God. Well, let's get into some actionable betting information, guys. If you like what you're hearing, please take a second, hit that like button. Skee Profits already been on. We were talking some college hoops. He likes Michigan tonight. I want to talk to you about Tennessee and Florida. Man, I mean, talk about a premier 14-0 Tennessee team against a 13-1 Gators team, and both are covering at a lights-out clip. 9-4-1 for Tennessee, 10-4 for Florida, and both playing to the under. 149.5 is the total. How are you betting this game?
Well, Prez, unfortunately, I'm not going to bet it because I could not possibly take Florida at this number, what it is right now. I mean, 4 is totally insane. That being said, I like Florida. So the only way I could bet this would be to try to like jump in.
I mean, with us. Guys, our apologies on the technical difficulties. We have crashed twice today. I would like to think it's not our fault. Look, I'm not a tech guy. I don't actually know if it's our fault. I can tell you unequivocally it's not my fault. But this does happen. So my apologies. Thanks for being patient. We're right back. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. So Adam, let's just summarize that Tennessee Florida bet really quickly. You want to bet Florida, right?
Yeah, real quick, because I don't have a ton of actionable info here because I really do love this Florida team. I just didn't get the number I wanted to bet. So I like the Florida side because I'm personally high on this team. I understand why you'd want to play back at that number. But for me, like, I love Florida's guards. I've said all along, if you watch Wager Talk programming, college basketball show, I said, don't sleep on Florida just because they haven't played as tough of a schedule as Tennessee. Their guards are elite. I think they could speed Tennessee up here. If they speed Tennessee up, I think their offense is better. And they find a way to do it in this home run spot at home. So we can move on. Not a bet for me, but I really am high on this Florida team, and I think they find a way to win.
And you're wearing a Pitt shirt. They're playing Duke tonight. Both of these teams 12-2 on the year. Clearly, strength of schedule supports Duke. They are minus 14.5. How are you betting this game?
Yeah, I want to take Pitt so bad here, Prez. I got this Pitt shirt at Pitt Duke last year in Pittsburgh, a game that Duke won by 1 million. If you look at the other meeting, the one down in Cameron Indoor, Pitt won that game, which is where the game is being played tonight. So I guess I'll tell you the reasons why I'm not betting Pitt, even though that's really what I like in this spot. My number likes Pitt. I got this around 12.8. So at 14.5 or whatever it is right now, I lean Pitt. But man, Prez, they were up on the scorer's table last year after the win, taunting the Duke fans. Like, you got to think that the team and the program remembers that and might be out for blood a little bit. Duke, a month ago, I would have bet Pitt in this game. Right now, Duke just looks like they get better every time they step on their floor. Their defense is awesome. So, a couple things for Pitt here that could really help them out. Ish Leggett came back last game. If they get Damian Dunn back, he hasn't played since November. That would be big for Pitt. Let's put it this way. If I was going to bet this game, it's Pitt plus the points all the way. Duke could take some money. So if Duke gets bet up, there is a point where I would have to jump in. If this gets pushed up to 15 and a half, 16, I might have no choice because my numbers would like Pitt that much. Right now, it's just a lean for me. But I do love this Pitt team. I've said from the beginning of the year, I think Pitt is one of the dark horses in the ACC. And now you start to look at some of these other ACC teams. Pitt's right in the mix, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put up a good fight.
Adam, let's look at Texas. They are plus 10.5. They're at home. They're hosting Auburn, 13-1 on the year. This Auburn team. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, it seems crazy, but my number likes Auburn, even with the fact that they're a 10.5 point road favorite. I've had Auburn power rated number 1 all season, not even close to a big enough edge for me to get involved there and lay those points, but certainly enough for me to not play Texas. That being said, I do think you could see some points here, Prez. I lean toward the over. Over the weekend, total disappointment from Texas. Played just such a bad second half against Texas A&M. Ended up losing a game by 20. They lost a game by 20, Prez, over the weekend, where Texas A&M went 2 of 19 from 3. And Texas still lost that game by 20. Texas shot horribly in that game as well, only 34% from the field. So I think even against a better team in Auburn, you still get a little bit more offense from Texas here. And I do think you get the offense from Texas if they find themselves down 15 points, right? That's where Auburn might let off the gas defensively a little bit. And then you might just get a lot of scoring because Auburn has a lead. We know Auburn's routine night is to drop 90 on someone. So I don't really think that they're going to have an issue scoring. My numbers were a little bit low here on the total. So if I had to bet this game, it would be the over.
There we go. Adam Trigger joining us. It's $5 Tuesday, everybody. My $5 play is an NFL total of the week. I'm on a 12-2 run. What is yours, Adam?
Yeah, so I've got a 4% play in college basketball. Just one play for me in college hoop tonight with all these great games. It's surprising, but you know what? With all these big-time marquee top 25 matchups, Prez, it is tough to find big-time line discrepancies, which is the battle I was running into. I found one, and that's going to be my 4% best bet, which you can get for $5 today. And also check out On the Clock, my daily show. I'm going to do 4 different games. So we're going to finish this up with 4 games here. I picked 4 different ones for On the Clock. So watch that, and I'll just rapid fire off 4 different ones. You'll have 8 in total by the time we're all said and done.
And Adam, I'm hearing from head office that your show is so well received. You're doing so great. So congratulations and thanks for all your hard work. Last game, brother. Kentucky at Georgia, 2 12-2 teams. My God, Adam, you've got yourself 4 premier matchups that you've taken apart. This is the last one. How are we betting this game?
Prez, this illustrates my point to a T. I love this Georgia team. I can't believe I'm only getting 2.5 points. I thought for certain I would have been able to come in, get Georgia plus 4.5, and this would be a client play for me if that was the case. But the bookmakers are just really good on these power conference marquee type games. The bookmakers are really good. They opened this 3. It was instantly down to 2.5. It hasn't been back since. Couple things here. Kobe Brea, I hear he's sick. If he misses for Kentucky, that's Georgia plus 2.5 becomes a pretty good bet if that's the case. And you got to wonder, Prez, when one dude is sick, are 5 guys sick? These guys are in close quarters. They practice together. They play together. If one guy is ill at this time of year, how many other guys are battling that on the team? So that's, in my opinion, a big red flag for Kentucky. On the other side, Montgomery for Georgia might not play, but he missed the majority of the first half of the season. I don't think he's only been back for 4 games. I don't think that's nearly as impactful. So a couple things here. I think if there was some players out in this game, I would like the under. I love this Georgia team. I'm higher than Georgia. I'm higher on Georgia than most. Asa Newell is a stud freshman, and it's a huge letdown spot. Kentucky just beat Florida over the weekend. Now they've got to go play Georgia on the road. I lean Georgia. Didn't get the number I wanted, but won't be surprised if they win this game.
Adam Trigger, outstanding, brother. So we have promoted. We've done everything. You killed it on this segment. Thanks for joining us. Let's keep this show moving, everybody. Andy Lang joining us. After that, I will give you my NHL free pick of the day, and then we're going to end the show with the great Gianni, the Greek. Andy Lang, every day I get more of you. You're wearing that shirt again with different color combinations. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I got to tell you, very, very impressed with your research on these games. You know your stuff coming into some of these college basketball games. I'm very, very impressed. Well done by you.
Well, Andy, it's interesting that you say that, and I appreciate that. When I was hosting the show with Teddy, I would give him all this room. Yeah, he would ask all the follow-up questions. He would look like he was the guy that knew everything, and I was just, the comedian.
The sex appeal.
Well, listen, yes, for sure the sex appeal. I mean, Andrew Wadge is like hardcore watching the show for my sexy look. But anyway, I'm glad you mentioned that because, dude, I mean, I kill it in hoops, Andy. I destroy hoops every single year. And yet people think all I know is NHL. So I appreciate you saying that, dude. I obviously study this shit. I love this shit. I sleep, eat, and dream this shit. And there's very few sports I don't know. One of them happens to be darts. Do you have a bet for us?
No darts, but they did announce the Premier League of Darts roster, and that starts, believe it or not, just in a few weeks. We have a couple tournaments coming up, so stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more darts content this year, so don't worry. There will be plenty of darts content. Let's get started today with prop in the NFL that has come out. We're just going right back to it, Prez. Bread and butter, Lamar Jackson, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Gone over in 10 out of the last 11 games, 6 straight games. Had 3 the last game against Pittsburgh. And honestly, 5 out of the last 6 starting quarterbacks against Pittsburgh have thrown for 2 or more. Only guy to not do it, surprising, was Joe Burrow last week. So we're just going to go with Lamar Jackson. Just keep riding this streak until it doesn't hit. We'll move to NHL, and we'll go with an oldie but goodie, Claude Giroux, over 1.5 shots on goal. This is another rinse and repeat type of bet. He's gone over in 5 out of 6 games, 26 out of 38 this season. And this one's crazy. Gone over in 12 out of 13 games against the Detroit Red Wings. For some reason, he just loves firing away against the Detroit Red Wings. So you got really good form on this play. You've got a good history against this team. So that's definitely gonna pique my interest. And then finally, we got to go to NBA. We'll do Michael Porter Jr. again, over 2.5 made 3-pointers. This is a play that hits when Aaron Gordon is out of the lineup. 6 straight games that Aaron Gordon has not played. Michael Porter Jr. has gone over this. He's averaging 7.2 made 3-pointers in those games. He's shooting 53.4% in those games. So I'm getting volume. I'm getting good quality looks. I'm getting a high percentage of makes. And when Aaron Gordon is out, his shot attempts go up. So we got to play Michael Porter Jr. over his threes tonight.
Andy Lang joining us. Andy, some guy named Sean Alvarez is in the chat room. He wants to do a show with you called Darts and Horses. But the reason I'm mentioning that is I'd like to shout out Sean Alvarez. He's our horse handicapper over at WagerTalk. He is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in your life. He's also a scratch golfer, a golf pro, and he did make the top 100 in the Circa contest and made himself some money. So shout out to you, Sean. Thanks for being part of our team and continue. I love continued success, brother. Dude, we got a listener in the chat room. I've never seen his name before. Mike Litteris. Imagine having that last name. Just stunning. A stunning last name. And it would have been cooler if his first name was like Charles Litteris. That would have been genius.
he took the joke all the way to the edge. He didn't kind of creep up on it. Like if you would have done Michael Literis, that would have been a little bit better.
Oh, Michael Literis. I like that. Anyway, welcome to my life, Michael Literis. We love having you. Okay, Andy, so we got the Australian Open in tennis starting in a few days, next week, I think. That is the beginning of the tennis season, which is awesome for you, as you are 45-18 in your last 53 tennis bets on a 45-18 run. Congratulations, dude. That's sick. You got a prop bet for us in tennis and a promo. I hand the mic to you.
Yeah, so you guys should be very interested in tennis. We're number one lifetime in tennis, and like Prez said, we're on a 45-18 run. Right now, the Australian Open qualifiers are going on, and those are very bettable. And if you get 30 days for only $59, you're going to start getting bets right now, and you're going to get through the Australian Open. That's a promo that we're doing. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but there's a really good match to bet on, and the line is flying. So if you're going to play it, jump on it. Kimberly Burrell over Priscilla Hahn. This is a client play. We've already locked this in. Burrell's looked really good. Start off the season 4-1. She's got some quality wins over Navarro and Potapova, who's a top 10 player. Serve has looked very good, reliable, strong. She plays well in Australia. These are fast courts. She moves well on them. And she actually beat Hahn a week ago. And here's the other thing. Hahn played last night. We actually bet on Hahn, and she barely won. Struggled to win. She was cramping. She had injuries. She did not play very good. This is a really, really quick turnaround for Hahn. She's going to have to try and improve her game. She's going to have to try and not cramp and not be hurt. And Burrell just cruised in her last one. So you get a nice rest advantage. You get a quality advantage. Burrell should roll over Hahn. Lock this one in ASAP.
Andy Lang, every freaking day this dude is with us. Brother, $5 Tuesday. What do you got going?
Our $5 Tuesday play is UFC. It's back. We'll be talking about UFC later on in the week, of course. WT.buzz/AL on a 30-18 run in MMA. The tennis special, though, when Gianni asked me to come on the show, he's like, talk about all these sports that nobody else does. Like, talk about your winning in these sports. And the first tennis major of the year is next week. It's the Australian Open. So we're running 30 days of tennis for only $59. I would get that really quick because, like I said, we're playing the qualifiers right now. We're up 124 units in tennis the last 3 years, and the winnings have already started this week. So we're going to continue to play those qualifiers. So lock that in. You're going to get all of the Australian Open plays. 30 days of tennis, only $59. It's absolutely worth it. It's going to be a great month, and we absolutely dominate the majors. The majors is where we make the money in tennis. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, and frankly, you dominate everything. But yeah, the majors have always been good to you. Andy Lang, thanks for joining us. Okay, guys, let's get into my daily NHL free pick. We're going to look at the Toronto Maple Leafs playing the Philadelphia Flyers. We can take Andy off the screen anytime you want. I mean, look,
I'm doing the follow-up. I'm doing the follow-up.
Okay, do a follow-up. Anyway, before we get into that, I want to make mention again, I've got an unbelievable promo up for all of you guys. You can get my NFL season, the playoffs, the entire playoffs, right up until the Super Bowl. You get it all for free. It's $149. It's yours free. All you have to do is buy my NHL month. That's $179 for a month of my NHL. You get my NFL for free. I'm on a 12-2 NHL run. I'm on a 14-2 NFL run. So when we look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm always looking to bet them under. It seems counterintuitive as this team has so much scoring up front with Austin Matthews and Marner, Nylander, Tavares. Matthew Nyes now is playing lights out. Pacioretty is playing the best hockey he's played in 3 years. Max Domi is scoring. McCann is scoring. This team has a ton of scoring up top. With that said, they're 18, 20, and 3 to the under this year. So they are playing to the under, and they have gone under in 3 of their last 4 games. Since Craig Berube took over, this is a team that is playing more of a north-south style hockey. They are dumping the puck. They're doing the dump and chase. They're playing more of a neutral zone type of a trap. They're not playing that cycling 5-man unit that you saw under Sheldon Keefe, that you see the Colorado Avalanche, the Edmonton Oilers play. Subsequently, it has tightened up their defense. This is one of the best defensive units in the league, a top 3 defensive unit. And we can see this even of late. Sure, they allowed Boston 4 goals. Other than that, Philadelphia, who they just played, put up 2 on them. New York Islanders put up 1 each. This team has allowed 8 goals in their last 4 games, which is 2 goals a game. And that's somewhere what I expect them to do throughout the regular season. Somewhere around 2.4, 2.5 goals per game. Now they're playing Philadelphia tonight. And although Philadelphia is 21-18 to the over, this is a team that was going over more at the beginning of the year than they are now. If you follow John Tortorella, the coach of Philadelphia, and all the teams he's coached in the past, this is a guy like Craig Berube that wants to win low-scoring, tight-checking, slow-paced hockey games. Both of these coaches would rather win a 3-1 game than a 6-4 game. We also have good goaltending in net as well on both teams, and they just played each other 3-2. Toronto won last game. So the bottom line here is I like the under. There are 80% of the number right now is 6. There are a few 6.5s out there. I took the 6.5, juiced up minus 135. That's a better bet than under 6 minus 115. I'd rather pay that 20 cents extra and have that half a goal in my pocket. So take the Leafs and Philadelphia under 6.5 minus 135. But I have no issue if you want to take them under 6 as well. Gianni the Greek joining us. Gianni, welcome to the show. Thanks for doing this every day, dude.
The pleasure's mine, brother. The pleasure's all mine. Busy day, like you touched on. Actually, I bet 2 NHL games already today that I sent to subscribers, Prez. Surprise, surprise. One of them is on the under in Toronto and Philadelphia. The other is on the over in Dallas and the Rangers. So you definitely have the betting syndicates agreeing with you on that Toronto-Philadelphia side.
So let me talk to you quickly about the Rangers-Dallas game, because I was on Puck Time this morning, and Carmine likes that over as well. Now, I don't, but I'm not against that over, Gianni, but I actually like the Rangers here. This is a plus 145, and they're a very live dog. Now, I understand that this Rangers team has struggled all year, but brother, Dallas is in a horrible spot. They've won 4 games in a row. 3 of them were at home, and now they hit the road for that first road game. I like to bet on teams against teams on road game number 1, and I like to bet against teams on home game number 1. It is home game number 1 for the Rangers, but their road trip was only 2 games long, and it was right down the road. So I actually love the spot for the Rangers here, Gianni, at plus the 145. What do you got going in hoops?
I like your Rangers. So far, we've just gotten down on a couple college basketball bets. Let me share this to you real quickly. All on the regular board. Start off with 603 over 135 Kent, Northern Illinois. 659 over 140 Michigan, UCLA. And 648 under 152.5 Auburn, Texas. 2 sides for you, 637 Cincinnati plus the 6 and 664 Boise State minus the 7. Real quickly with UFC coming up Saturday, they return after a couple weeks off. Look at that favorite right now in that main event. Hebas continues to climb up. I'll tell you this, that's been short money continuing to bet her against Mackenzie Dern. But I think when the public gets involved, that line should come down. You should see some Dern action as well. That's going to start to pick up towards the end of the week. We could cover some MMA because right now all the attention, Prez, is on the college football playoffs, the NFL playoffs, and everything else is taking a back seat, which we can find value. I love how you came in on the NHL. I love talking college basketball. I love how the guest right before him was talking MMA. Those are and the other markets that he messes with. That's where you can uncover some true value for sure.
Yeah, listen, and it's why we're all rolling right now. I mean, I've given my streaks out 700 times. I'm 15-5 in my last 3 days of betting. So yeah, I'm over the moon, dude. Things are great. Gianni, I'm going to ask you really quick every day. Have you heard we spoke about the Bulls in the NFL yesterday. Maybe you got some more info. Maybe you didn't. Let us know.
Yeah, here's what I am seeing. That every time anyone, and it hasn't been the big books, but any of the smaller books, some of the local books have gone to 3 on Notre Dame, Penn State got bet. That's been sticking out to me. I haven't received the Penn State order yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I do. I think they're sitting back and waiting to get that key number because Notre Dame, now sitting at 2.5, and I can tell you, Prez, looking in the back end, the bettors have been already tying them in to earlier week games, meaning if they're betting an NBA game that they love or a college basketball game that they love tonight, they're going to parlay it with Notre Dame, and they're doing it with Ohio State. And what I saw that stuck out most to me, because I have a future on Ohio State, is that although the initial money looks like it came in on Ohio State, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, the Sharps haven't really spoken on that game. It's been coming down a little bit. Like, I thought this line would get to 7 because of all the one-sided love for Ohio State. Let's tell it like it is, Prez. They've looked phenomenal. They've looked like the best team in college football, no doubt. They look like they should be the number 1 power-rated team, at least a field goal better than everyone else. But that's off the 2 games. That's off strictly 2 games. And I think Texas is being overlooked here. I have a future on Ohio State, so I'd love nothing more than Ohio State to go in there and blow this team out. But I don't think that's going to happen. The line's sitting at 6.5 here. I'm going to tell you something. One of the Squares books in Las Vegas has 6.5 right now, okay? They're the Squares book we have. I can't bet there. If I go to the sharpest book I have access to, they have 5.5 right now. That's a very telling sign to me that the Square book, which won't let a guy like me bet, has 6.5 on Ohio State because they're getting nothing but Ohio State action. But the sharp book, which will give me the same limit bet they give anybody else, they're at 5.5. So guys like me actually did take the Texas at 6, which was what was up there yesterday. So we have seen some sharp money come in on Texas, and I do think we're going to see that on Penn State as well. I think they're, both favorites to get the W and advance. I don't know, could happen. But I like how the Sharps are approaching this by seeing that the favorites may be a little bit overvalued here.
Gianni the Greek joining us, everyone. Guys, tomorrow's show, Wednesday, we got Rob Vino. We're going to look at some college hoops and NBA. Art DeCesar from the Westgate, Andy Lang, and again, Gianni. Gianni, what I want to speak about really quick, and this is more of a public service announcement, but you and I have been in this industry and this game since the 90s. And we spend a lot of time on social media, and what I want to say to everybody, and feel free to wade in, is if you go back over the history of the handicapping industry, the 70s, 80s, and 90s was not kind to our industry. We had a lot of people in our industry that were basically scammers. They were all the 900 numbers out there. People were giving both sides of the same play. They were running a math equation. They went from 500 people calling the line to 251 and O's to 125 2 and O's to 83 and O's, 3 and O's, and so on and so forth. It was not a great industry to be in. The internet took care of a lot of that. With the internet and the advent of the internet, we were able to put up our plays and show our records. And ultimately, with all the review systems and everything in place, if you got caught scamming your clients, your business was in a lot of trouble. So I think the 70s, 80s, and 90s was not kind to our industry, but the 2000s were. And there were a lot of companies like us that are doing this right. We show you all our plays. We're full disclosure. We don't lie. We're not scamming everyone. And the reason I'm saying this, Gianni, is I'm concerned that the industry is starting to fall back into the days of yesteryear. Social media has come along. It has taken us off of the internet where people see the plays, read the reviews, and they've put us into this environment where 20-year-olds are putting up 15 team parlays, betting $100, winning 1.2 million, showing off their completely made up bullshit fake ticket, and everyone is jumping on story-eyed and excited. So what I'm saying is, be freaking careful out there, guys, because an industry that was shit for 30 years was fixed by companies like us and Who to Bet On, the company I owned prior to this, and the Mark Lawrences and the Vegas experts and the Vegas insiders and all of these companies that were doing it correctly. And now we are back in the wild, wild west with a bunch of children throwing 15-team parlays at you and outright lying. So be freaking careful out there. Sorry, Gianni.
Prez, I lived through it. Here's the difference. Back then, you're absolutely right. People were giving both sides of games. It was just a hustle. None of those guys were winning sports bettors. They just saw an opportunity to make a ton of money. Okay? I was one of those guys that fell victim to it. At 18 years old, I ran up. I lived in a row house with my family, a very poor family. I ran up probably a $2,200 phone bill, calling 900 numbers and paying $40 for a best bet and all that stuff. So I owed the bookie a couple $1,000s that I didn't have, and I got a whipping from my dad with that same phone cord for that phone bill that I'm sure took him a couple months to pay off so we could keep our number. So I fell through that. But here's the difference, Prez. The market forced the change. The market demanded the change. They stopped buying from those people. They started asking for receipts. That's what needs to happen again. It's the markets to demand that from the handicappers. See, they did that in 2000. When the internet came out, late 90s, 2000s, people started wising up and they said, wait, there's documentation. The internet never disappears. So if this guy's really the truth, you should have record of it. You should have it documented. And they started demanding it. And that's why WagerTalk and companies like that started blowing up and the other ones started disappearing. The fake guys, the losers, the hype guys, they were gone. Because now with the internet too, you could find enough guys that actually won to build a sports site with. Look at WagerTalk. You couldn't have done this in the 90s. Found 30 guys where the majority are going to be profitable or opportunity to be long-term. It was almost impossible. The market needs to change. You, the customer, needs to demand this of the bettors, of the market. Show me receipts. Show me receipts. That's the bottom line. In 2025, there's no reason why any winning bettor shouldn't be able to tell you the results so far to date, the results last year, the results their last 3 years, the results their last 5 years, unless they just started betting yesterday, in which case there's no reason you should ever take the advice of someone who's just started betting yesterday. They have no excuse. It's like if you text somebody or reply to somebody who puts out a record and you say, that's great. I'm glad you're doing awesome. Your last 10. Can I please have your last 300? If they block you, don't answer you, then you already know the answer. The market needs to demand because people are going to keep giving the market what it wants. You want big plays, we're going to give you big plays. You don't want accountability, we're not going to give you accountability. Force it from us. Force accountability from us, and that's what you're going to get. That's how I look at it, Prez. The market needs to fix this.
Yeah, I love it. Wash Redskin writes, just do your own capping. It's that simple. Wash Redskin, it ain't even close to that simple.
Yeah,
it couldn't be further away from that simple. Firstly, guys like Teddy literally stopped hosting this show because he's spending 12 hours a day doing his own handicapping. 12 hours a day ain't that simple. Secondly, most people who do their own handicapping don't even win anyway. This is not an easy sport. So never say that to a stockbroker, my brother. Guys, what a show. So much fun. Such a privilege to do this. Gianni, we'll see you. Wait, $5 Tuesday. What do you got? What do you got?
Bro, I threw out a 5%. I gave a 5. So why not? Why not? Why not? It's the new year, 2025. I hit my first one. I gave out a 5% that's sitting over there at WagerTalk for you. NBA, baby.
We'll see you all tomorrow, everyone. Lots of love.